In my last video taking a look at the Volkswagen Taos, I felt this vehicle was just a bit too expensive. So I returned to go even higher in the trim levels. Today we're going to take a look at the SE Black Appearance Package. I think this is the go-to. Yes, you're still spending over $30,000. Yes, you're in the same price bracket as the Volkswagen Tiguan, but if you're looking for a cool looking subcompact crossover that should feel a bit more upscale and also has a good amount of technology and also a decent amount of performance, then maybe the SE Black Appearance Package is the Taos for you. Now before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout and thank you to Gervais Volkswagen here in Lowell, Massachusetts for letting me come down here once again to take a look at the Taos. Their link will be in the description below so you can check out their extensive Volkswagen inventory. Getting into that pricing for the SE Black, you're looking at a starting cost of just over $31,000, but that's with front-wheel drive. If you go with Volkswagen's 4Motion all-wheel drive system, you are spending over $33,000. And like I said before, with the last time we featured this model, just go with the Tiguan at this price point. It's a better choice. But also comparing this to other subcompact crossovers, over $30,000 is where you usually find some rivals and the top trims from those rivals, from Honda, from Toyota, from Subaru. Now Mazda does give you a turbocharged 4-cylinder engine as well above $30,000, but there's a few more trims to work your way through that lineup. So the SE Black needs to be giving me something very impressive here for the interior and also, of course, the exterior. But since we are outside, let's check out what this model is going to be offering us. Taking the SE Black off lot today to take a look at the exterior aesthetics for this model, this is the trim to choose if you are into a cooler, sportier, and lower profile appearance, because the SE will blend in on a lot along with the S and SEL. But with the SE Black, you can get some fun colors like that deep royal green that kind of reminds me of Celtic green. Living up here in Boston, I might choose that color. But there's more than just the gloss black trim that you get here for this trim. Up front, you are going to have the LED light bar that runs the length of the front fascia and the LED headlights. Now we saw that on last generation's Tiguan. We had that on the Volkswagen GTI. It's a good look for this model, especially for a subcompact crossover. A lot of crossovers in this market don't get that upscale styling. So yes, you are spending a little more extra than some of the other subcompacts in this market, but it does go a long way to the overall appearance. Now, for the lower portion of the front bumper, there will be some more gloss black trim outlining the front grille. If you remember the S from my previous review, there was some brushed aluminum accents, but that does not carry over for this trim. Now, you will have functional side air curtains helping out with that airflow and overall efficiency, and again, giving you an aerodynamic look to this model. Then as you make your way over the side profile, this right here is where going with the SE is going to make a lot of sense. The two-tone look is usually found on more expensive vehicles. In a way, from far away, this kind of looks like a Volvo XC40 that also gets the same exterior appearance, at least from far away, because we have the boxier body lines here. Now you're going to have gloss black side mirror caps, but interestingly enough, no turn signal indicators even for the SE, but you will have blind spot detection for added safety. Getting into those wheels, you have 19-inch alloys in that gloss black finish. Again, ties everything together for this model. Also blends in with the cladding for the wheel arches and side profile. Now we will talk about those 19-inch wheels because with the S you get 18s and ride quality might be a bit more diminished here with this particular trim. Then as you make your way around to the back here, you are going to have that light bar that runs the length of the rear fascia with some gloss black trim outlining that light bar for more definition to this model. Interestingly enough though, for an SE Black, the badges are still in chrome. I'm a bit surprised by that, although the 4Motion badge has some black there. For the lower portion of the rear bumper, you're going to have that cladding once again, but no brushed aluminum accents. Unfortunately, we still have those fake exhaust outlets, though, that look very tacky and cheap. I have no idea why manufacturers do that. And then lastly, you are going to have the exhaust outlet tucked beneath the bumper for that cleaner appearance. But for me personally, this is the way to go. This is the trim to choose, even though it is going to be a bit more expensive than that S and SE. What's really surprising me though, with the SE Black, you still don't get a power liftgate. I am stunned by that. Practicality wise though, it kind of makes up for it. You're looking at right on 25 cubic feet of room behind the second row of seats, which is going to be very competitive with that Honda HR-V, Toyota Corolla Cross. It's better than the Subaru Crosstrek and Mazda CX-30. If you go with the front wheel drive version, you're getting close to 28 cubic feet of room, which is on par with the Nissan Kicks. Then with the second row seats folded, you're looking at right on 60 cubic feet of room. Again, pretty good for a vehicle in this class. Front wheel drive, you get 65 cubic feet. Also, you will have some deep side pockets pockets for some smaller items, maybe a couple water bottles, car detailing equipment, or maybe even a first aid kit. And beneath the floor mat, you will find that spare tire, so if you encounter a flat on those road trips or travels, you can fix that and be back on the road. Transitioning to the interior for the SE Black, the driving environment is just a little bit nicer than what we found inside the S. You're greeted by heated Cloud Tech seats for both the driver and passenger. In a way, it kind of reminds me of a very, very fake Alcantara or suede. I don't want people jumping on me in the comment section, but it doesn't feel like a fake leather here. It feels like something else. Now, there will be cloth inserts as well, and together you have a lot more grip and bolstering, in my opinion, than what we found with the S. This is a happier medium for me in this particular vehicle and in the subcompact crossover market. Now, some things do carry over from the S, such as that digital gauge cluster, although we do have a different infotainment system here. And we also have this leatherette wrap steering wheel, which is heated, by the way. Feels great in the hands. Still no paddle shifters, though, for the SE Black. You're going to have buttons on the steering wheel, which help you control that digital gauge cluster in front of you. We talked about that very briefly with the S. The fact that it is so immersive and in-depth, I think, provides just a bit more engagement and excitement compared to other subcompacts in this market, including the Subaru Crosstrek, which doesn't yet give us a full digital gauge cluster, and then also the Toyota Corolla Cross. Then taking a look at the infotainment system, it's a little larger than what we found in the S. You're going to have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto compatibility, and you have a lot more buttons and dials to work with here. Instead of just having one dial for the volume, you now have a volume and tuning knob. You have quick access icons for the radio, media, phone, voice, app, sound, car, and menu. All of this functions the exact same way, though. I think a lot of you are going to like the SE or the SE Black just because of what it's offering, technologically speaking. Now, for me, though, aside from the menu layout and aside from everything else this head unit is offering, it's the rear backup camera that I really like here, because instead of just having that small little display, it fills the entire screen, and you have trajectory as well. I complained about that with the S. I wish the S got this same layout, but unfortunately, it doesn't. Then as you continue on towards the center console, you will find your touch-sensitive icons for your dual-zone climate control, AC, front and rear defrosters, fan speed, and fan direction, also your 3-level heated seats. Beneath that will be 2 USB-C inputs, a 12-volt outlet, a wireless phone charging pad, and then for the center console itself, you have your gear selector here, which doesn't change from the S, your push-button start, electronic parking brake, and then you have your drive mode selector. So just like we saw with the S, you have Eco, Normal, Sport, and Custom, but you also have Snow mode, and you have off-road auto and off-road custom. So even though you won't be taking this vehicle off-road, especially with a gloss black trim, it's still going to give you some versatility here with the Taos. Then you're going to have 2 cup holders and also a small storage compartment for some loose change. Then for the standard storage compartment, still rather deep here, so you can probably store a water bottle or 2, a couple smartphones or wallets. And then to round out the front seating area, this is the big one, especially with the SE Black. You have a panoramic moonroof, which brings in a lot of natural light to the interior. That is optional for the SE trim. Then for passengers in the back, all the interior dimensions do carry over from the S. The only difference here is that panoramic moonroof. But for me, though, it's the amenities, it's the creature comforts, it's the smaller things I like here about the SE Black. You're going to have 2 center mounted air vents. We didn't have that with the S. Also a USB-C outlet. Again, not found in the S. And there'll be 2 cup holders and a center armrest. Now, returning to those dimensions, though, if you haven't watched my other review, you are going to have right around 38 inches of legroom, which, to put that into perspective, is on par with some compact crossovers out there, and it's better than the Subaru Crosstrek and Mazda CX-30. If you're looking for a vehicle that is family-friendly, that's not as large as a compact crossover, you're going to like the Taos. It's going to be everything else, though. It's going to be that pricing that will scare you off. But I think if you're looking for a vehicle of this size, you're looking to maximize the practicality and the interior space, that's where the Taos is going to impress you in more ways than one. And lastly, for all Volkswagen Taos models for 2025, you are going to receive a 1.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, producing 174 horsepower and 184 pound-feet of torque. It is going to be paired with an 8-speed automatic transmission. Volkswagen dropped the dual clutch, which I know some people are very happy to see not make its way back for 2025. Now, you can go with front-wheel drive, but we have the optional Volkswagen 4Motion all-wheel drive system for better year-end capability and versatility. But with the lack of ground clearance coming in at around 7 inches, I don't think you'll be taking this vehicle off-road. Now, also with this particular model and coming in at around $33,000, I would kind of steer you towards the Tiguan. The Tiguan has the 2-liter turbo 4, giving you 201 horsepower and 221 pound-feet of torque, and I think that's the better value. That crossover at around $34,000 will feel far more refined and rigid with the updated MQB Evo platform, but then also better technology, better creature comforts, and amenities. But if you're insistent on going in the subcompact crossover direction, it's this 1.5-liter turbo that I think makes a world of a difference. We've already talked about the interior quality for this model, the technology, the dashboard layout, but it's the powertrain that I think will have you coming back for more, because when you're comparing this to the Japanese rivals from Toyota, from Honda, from Nissan, they're all going to have naturally aspirated 4 cylinders and CVT. So the driving experience is not going to feel refined, it's not going to be fun or athletic. Although with the Taos, you don't have a sports tune suspension, but with this turbo 4 that comes standard, unlike most rivals in this market, and this 8-speed automatic, you can have some fun here and there. Then more importantly is going to be that ride quality here with the 19-inch alloy wheels. You are going to notice more road noise entering the cabin, and the ride quality is just a little bit harsh here with these 19s compared to the 18s that came standard on the S. But they look cool, so at least aesthetically, you have a good looking crossover here, but it does come at the expense of a more quieter cabin. Now as we enter the corners here, it handles them really well. Steering input is decently weighted. Yes, it's fluid. Yes, it is somewhat light, but it's not going to feel numb or lacking in any way like some manufacturers right now at around $30,000 to $35,000. Also wanting to keep in mind here too is that this isn't even the top trim. You can go with the SEL, but I think that's completely unnecessary. The SE with the black appearance package I think is the happy medium. It's the best trim in my opinion for 2025, providing a good amount of value for the price. All in all though, it comes back to this 1.5-liter turbo because a lot of buyers in this segment will feel compelled to go in the compact crossover direction even if they don't want an SUV that's about 8 to 9 inches longer than what you have here with the Taos. Because the Tiguan for 2025, despite losing the optional third row, is about 8.5 inches longer. Some of you don't want a crossover of that size, and I think this 1.5 is mostly going to help out with that, where you're not begging for more power, especially when you're entering highways and passing slower drivers. Well, I'm still going to stand by my statement and say the Taos is a bit too expensive for this market, even for an S trim. You got to keep in mind that it comes back to the practicality, the interior space, the performance, and just the overall value here, because a lot of subcompacts are going to be too small. They feel like lifted hatchbacks. The Taos doesn't have any of those attributes. So it is going to be somewhat of a compromise here that yes, you're spending $33,000 for the SE black appearance package, but you're getting a vehicle that still feels a bit more tech focused while also being a vehicle that has the compact crossover qualities without being as large as a CR-V or Tiguan. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this quick review for the 2025 Volkswagen Taos SE Black. If you did, please like, comment, share, and subscribe for more, and I will see you guys next time.